Hey guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start to deal with our topic class, and we're going to fetch data from the database and output it here. So what we need to do is go ahead and open up our index controller or index page. Alright, and then also go to libraries and open up the topic class or topic file. Alright, so we want to create a topic class. So class topic, and this is where we're going to do things like fetch topics, fetch categories, add replies, create topics, things like that. And we're going to use the database class kind of like a wrapper class. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a property up here, and we're going to initialize the DB variable. We need a PHP tag here, of course. Whoops, what happened? Alright, so we're going to initialize a variable. It's going to be private because we only want to be able to access this from inside the class. Alright, so we're not going to assign it to anything, we're just going to declare it. Alright, and then we can start with our functions. The first one is going to be a constructor. Okay, so we're going to say public function double underscore construct. Okay, so in PHP, that's how you define a constructor. And a constructor is basically just a function that runs whenever you create a new topic object. All right. So the first method, actually inside of the constructor, we just want to assign this DB to new database. All right. So now we can use this as a handler for our queries and things like that. Alright, so now the function we want to do first is going to be, we're going to get all topics. Okay, so get all topics. And let's see, public function get all topics. Alright, so we want to use the database now, so we're going to say this DB query. Alright, so in here we want to write our query. So we want to select. Now we're going to use table joins here, which we went over briefly in the past. Basically, we're going to get everything from the topics table, but we want to join in the users table as well as the categories table, because we want to get info like who posted the topic, and that's not stored inside of the topics table. That's in the users table, so we have to join that in. We also want to display the category, so we need to join in the categories as well. So I'm going to say select topics.all users.username users.avatar, okay, categories.name. Alright, and then we're going to say from topics. Alright, now I'm gonna go on a new line here. Okay, so all we did was specify what we want from each table. Alright, so now we're gonna say inner join users. Alright, now we want to define what two fields we want to connect. So we do that with on topics dot user ID, all right, because there's a user ID column in the topics table, and that should relate to the users table ID field. Okay, so that's how we're going to kind of join these over. Users dot ID. Why does it keep doing that? All right. And next we want to inner join categories. And same thing, we're going to say on topics dot category ID, and that's going to be equal to the categories table ID field. All right. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is order this. All right, so we're going to say order by create date descending. So that'll make it so that the most recent topics are at the top. Okay, so we haven't actually ran the query yet, we just defined it. All right, so now we have to go down here and I'm going to assign the result set. All right, so I'll create a new variable called results and set that to this DB result set. And if you remember, when we built our PDO database class, this was one of the methods, was to grab the result set of a query. All right, and then finally we're just going to return that result set. All right, and then that should give us the rows that we want to work with, and we can then pass them to our view. All right, so make sure that this is saved and then go back into the index page. Now, to use the topic class, we need to instantiate it just like we did with our template. All right, so let's do that. Create topic object. All right, so I'm just going to say topic equals new topic. Okay, so now we can use that, and what we're going to do is pass the results of that query into our template. So let's change this to topics, and then what we want to do is equal this to topic get all topics. All right, so what we're doing is getting this function. All right, so we ran the query, we got the result, we're returning the result into here. All right, so we can actually use the function right here, and then this will pass this into the template. All right, so then we can use topics as a variable in the template. All right, so let's save that and go to our template. Okay, we want to go to templates and front page. All right, so right now we just have a bunch of list items with topics. What I'm going to do is only keep this first one, and we're going to create a for each loop and then go through the loop and iterate all the topics that are in the database, and they'll be formatted just like this. All right, so let me just kind of fix this a little bit. Okay, that goes there. These should be back here, but I guess that's all right. All right, good enough. So this is the first topic right here. Actually, is this the main topic? Actually, no, we don't have a main topic on the home page. All right, so I'm going to get rid of the rest of these list items. down to here. Delete that, and you'll see how much less code we have when we do this. All right, so I want to go right under the UL. Okay, so right under this UL, we're going to open up a PHP block, and we're just going to check for topics. So if there was any that were returned back to us. All right, so if topics. All right, and then I'm just going to kind of wrap this whole thing in here down to here, and then here I'll say PHP else, PHP else, PHP end if. All right, and if there are no topics, we're just going to say no topics to display. All right, now if there are topics, then we want to create a for each loop. And we're going to say for each topics as topic. And that'll end right here after the closing list tag. PHP end for each. All right, now let me just fix this a little bit. All right, so now we should be able to replace the static information here with the dynamic information coming from the database. So let's first do this title. Okay, so we'll get rid of that and put in some PHP. We're going to say PHP echo topic title. All right, and that should grab the title for us. And let's just check this out, make sure there's no errors or anything. Okay, so syntax error, topics, expecting line 16, topic.php. 16's right here. Public function construct, public function, oh, we have a space here. Alright, so it's working. You know that we have two topics in our database, okay, right here. And you can see that the titles are now dynamic. They're coming from our titles in the database. Alright, so now what we have to do is just replace everything else, okay, like the date, category, avatar, things like that. So let's go back to front page, and let's go ahead and get rid of the image name, and we'll put in our image name, which is going to be topic avatar. Alright, now the file isn't uploaded yet, so it's still not going to show anything, but it will when we upload it. Alright, so let's see, we got the body. Actually, we don't have a body in this view. Okay, so the category, it says development. Let's replace that. Okay, so PHP now what we're going to do here is say topic and then name. Alright, so this name is actually coming from our categories table. Since we joined in our categories table, we can use whatever fields that we asked to use, which one was name. Alright, so there is no name in the topics table, but there is in the categories. And basically we're going to do the same thing with the name here, the username. Alright, so we'll be able to say PHP echo topic username. Alright, now we also want to have links go into these, and we don't want it to be category HTML. So I'm going to replace this here. Alright, so what I did is we're going to go to topics.php, and then we're adding a get variable of category, and then we're just equaling that to the category ID of the current topic. And we're just using this URL format to just make the text compatible with a URL. Alright, and we want to do the same kind of thing with the user. Alright, so let me just actually put this on a new line. Alright, and I'm going to paste that in as well. Okay, so there's no profile in this app, so it's we're doing the same thing here, topics.php, except we're adding the user to it. Alright, so then when we create topics.php, we can create filters for the category and the user so that it only shows posts from them. Alright, so let's check that out. Alright, so something's not right here. Let me just check the source. Let's see. Fatal error, call to undefined function URL format. And the reason that this function isn't there is because we didn't create it in our helper file. Alright, so it's looking for a helper function. So let's go ahead and go back. We'll open up helpers and then format helper, and I'm just going to paste in the URL format function. Alright, so basically it's just making sure that it's using regular expressions to make sure it's in a format of a URL. It's making it all lowercase, and it's also URL encoding it. Alright, so let's save that, and this should now work. Alright, good. So this is all coming from the database. The date, however, is not. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so date, let's put this down here, and what we're going to do here is just, we want to output the date first of all. So PHP echo topic, I think it was date, let's see, or maybe not, let's just check real quick. Topics, okay, create date. Alright, so now you can see we have the date, but it's very ugly looking. Alright, so what we're going to do is create a very simple date format function, and we're going to do that inside of the format helper. Alright, so I'm just going to paste this in. Very simple. We're passing in the date and basically just using the PHP date function and string to time function to give us a better formatted date, and then we're just returning it. So if we save and go back to front page, and we just want to surround this with the format date function. Okay, so now if we reload, alright, undefined function format date. Oh, okay, we're doing camel case. Where is it? Alright, so that should do it. Alright, so now our date looks much better. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop here. So this will be part 1, and in the next video we'll deal with this form statistics, so we can get some counts of users, topics, and so forth. And then we're also going to add dynamic fields to the topic page themselves, things like that. Alright, so I will see you in the next part.